In this video I'm going to show you my painting process of the portrait and how I combined it with the photograph that I've taken of the plants from the park. This is the latest portrait. I was using a reference picture which unfortunately I cannot show you because it was a commission portrait and the person is real and private. So I hope you like it. I don't use many tricks. I've only started doing digital art this year, so this is how I transitioned from traditional art into digital painting. In the next video I will show you some useful tricks and simple settings and tools that I use and how it helped me with this transition, so that anytime that I want to go back to digital art, from digital art to traditional art, it is not that difficult as I'm still keeping the same way of working, so it's not as difficult to go back if you like to go back to traditional painting with acrylics or oils. I hope you enjoy it and see you next time. So I like to start painting a portrait on the blank page, and then I will start sketching using a really soft and transparent brush that I made in Procreate. I'll just try to outline like the main shapes. And then I've added a picture on the first layer of the plants that I took in a park. And on the third layer I'm starting to like the flat colors, starting with the hair. So far we have three layers. I'm just trying to find the shapes just by using this very fluffy, transparent and soft large brush that I've also created. And I've decided for the left hand side of the face to have colder colors for the lights, and then the right hand side of the face to have warmer colors for the shadows. I'm just adding more and more colors, shaping the portrait. And some people like to start with a sketch, but I like to add the face features a bit later when I have already like the shapes created just with the colors. And then I will add another layer on top, and I will start adding the different parts of the face. Most of the time I will start with the brows. And now I'm adding a bit more color to the hair. And you can see I'm outlining the eyes. I'm using a small oil brush by me. Just like the sketching all the parts of the face, just to make sure that everything is in the right proportions. Just to add that I'm sketching all those details on top of the other layers. So I probably at this point have about 4 layers. And I like to work overall on the whole picture. I don't really work on separate parts and then join them together. I like to jump from part to part and just overall work it out together. It works best for me. And on the right hand side, just trying to add some cooler shades as well. I'm still experimenting with the lights and shadows, but I did see a tutorial in the past, and one artist said that you do need to mix them a little bit, so I will have to add a little cooler tones also on the warmer side. So I'm using very soft and transparent brushes. That's the technique I prefer. I feel like the oil brush created by Procreate a bit too strong for me. Now I'm adding some brightness to the eyes. I'm just flipping the picture to the other side to make sure that I'm happy with the proportions. Adding a little bit more shadow, warmer shadows, brownish colors and yellows and reds on the right. I'm just changing a little bit the brows. I wasn't very happy with the shape of them just yet. If you're just starting digital art, I know when I started I really was adding so many layers one after another, and now with time I'm trying to reduce them. I feel like you can get lost a little bit if you have so many layers, and then you have to keep on going back and looking for the one you want. So I do prefer to not to have as many and just blend everything together. It blends so much better if you're just using a few layers. So I'll mostly have one layer for the background, or a few layers, depends how many backgrounds, pictures or drawings I'm using. Then I will have my sketch, which I can move up and down. Then I will have the colors for the shapes, and then I will add the face features, and I think that's about it. The more layer that I will add will be mostly for highlights and shadows, or just to change the tone. Now I'm really working a bit more into the details of the eyes. Eyes are my favorite to paint, so I will spend a bit longer on them. Just adding some highlights above the brows and in a corner of the eyes. Adding more definition to the nose and the jawline. I feel like if you are working with the reference photo, it is important that you paint what you see. It doesn't need to be so realistic, as long as there is a similarity and that you can recognize the person. I think it's really important that you keep your style. I do like the art the most when it's a bit more unique. I do admire photorealistic painters. It is really difficult to do this, and personally I don't think I can do photorealistic painting, but I haven't really practiced this. I do like to change things and just add a bit more from my own imagination. But I do like using reference photos because you can see how the lighting is, and you can see where the shadows are, and it is a bit easier than imagining it. Now I'm going a little more into details of the lips. As I mentioned earlier, I'm working over on the whole face, so I will work on the eyes a bit more, and then I'll jump into the lips and nose, and I'll just work more and more. into detail. I'm using a very bright turquoise here for the lighting, for the highlights. I do like this color because when you add this shade next to warm colors, it doesn't look turquoise anymore. It just looks really, really bright, and it's like so perfect for the highlights. Now I'm adding the hair. So I do use hair brushes which I purchased from Alice. I will add her details below. She has a really, really nice set for the hair brushes. It's a really lifesaver, as I don't enjoy painting hair that much. Now I'm just working a bit more into the lip shading. I will add some lines. I saw one artist I really admire that's actually using just a horizontal lines on the lips. I just add a bit more textures as well, using more texture brushes, so I don't get this smooth airbrushed skin. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's very beautiful as well, this type of art, but I do prefer a bit more roughness into the textures, and that it looks a bit more like a painting than a picture. Probably because it is in traditional art we see a bit more of that, and yes, I don't want my characters to look like computer creations. I still want them to look very arty and have some roughness into it. Just gonna add some baby hair. I'm using the hairbrush brushes set. But I've noticed that also a little inking brushes works great, and you can adjust the settings so it behaves similar. Now I decided that I wanted the portrait to be a bit smaller, so I made it smaller, and I just want to add more hair now, as I want to have more structure and more details in the background. So I decided to make it a bit more smaller for the face and make some space for the background. Also adding more turquoise colors into the face, and I joined another picture, so I've added 2 pictures for the background. I took both of them myself, and now I'll use the lasso tool and I copy and paste one of the pink plants, and I've added them as earrings. So I've copied and pasted them once and then duplicate them twice for the earrings. And now I'm working a bit more into the highlights and the shadows. Adding a bit more turquoise lighting into the hair. I'm just trying different colors. I don't have like structures way of painting. I just try things and see what I like the most. And I'm blending 2 pictures together. I use the glitch tool in Procreate. I also use the chromatic aberration tool. And now I'm working on the brows a bit more, just adding those little strokes and the eyelashes as well. I like to paint eyelashes a bit more natural. I also flip the canvas to the other side and just check on the proportions, just check it from the other view. You can always spot all the mistakes right away if you just flip the canvas to the other side, to the mirror view. I'm just cleaning everything, making it a bit more smoother, adding a bit more contrast, a bit more lines, so it looks a bit more natural, have a bit like stronger shadows and some harshness into the face, a bit more 3D look, roundness. Now I'm adding the hair, bit more hair, adding a bit more volume, which you will see very soon. I will actually delete this. I decided that I don't like it. I just copied and pasted a bit more of those plants, as I decided that I do like them and I want it to be like all over in this painting. These are so pretty. And I removed the yellow picture, just kept one photo for the background with copied little plants, little flowers, and just painting over the flowers now, just changing it a bit more, adding a bit more color, more contrast. I used some brushes from Procreate, some drawing brushes. They have really lovely textures. I like to use them for the highlights. Adding a little turquoise highlights to the hair. And yes, now I'm removing it. I decided I don't like it, so I'm actually going back to the first shape. What I like to do, I like to send the photographs to my phone and then compare them. I can see them better when the image is on another device. And now you can see for the background, I decided to go back to the yellow flowers as I compared the pictures, and I decided that I preferred it how it was before. I just added a bit more colors. I painted over them, so I completely actually changed them. What I also did is that I added another layer, and then I dropped the color dark red. I changed the layer to be an overlayer, and then I lowered the opacity and I erased that layer from the left hand side and then from the eye, and then that gave me really nice darker shadow on the right hand side. So I have this lovely reddish shadows now. Just added the little dots, just changing the proportions, just now really working on the last step. So I like to use the liquify and pinch options. So I pinched the eyes, I made them a little bit smaller, and then I moved the proportions a little bit with the liquify tool. And that is the finished painting now. I do really like the colors and how vivid it is. I hope you enjoyed it.